Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gebo the Shaman, and today we're going to be talking about modern Western magic versus shamanic magic or prehistoric magic. Not sure what I'll title this video, but it's something along those lines. So yeah, let's talk about it. So yeah, I was just thinking, today that one of my most popular videos on YouTube on this channel is me performing the Kabbalistic cross in Western magic. And, Western magic, it's fine. I have no problem with Western magic, but it is just a bit arbitrary. There's no real, substance to it. It's not very scientific at all. And the rituals can work. They can work, but they work a bit differently than the shamanic magic or the prehistoric magic works. So yeah, it's a bit different. It's a bit different system because modern Western magic goes off of it uses Christian deities. Like it'll use angels. It'll use the Key of Solomon, the Book of Solomon. It'll use the Goetia. It'll use angelic names. It'll use different stuff from the Bible and from related texts to the Bible. So whether that's even Satanists are using biblical magic, basically. Even occultists or Satanists are using. I'm not saying that they're one and the same because they're not. But people who are supposedly into Satan worship and all that, they're using the same stuff that's in the that the Western magic occult practitioners are using. So this is something that I haven't really talked about on my channel for a long time. And I tried to kind of distance myself from that because I no longer practice Western magic. I do practice shamanic magic, which I find is more scientifically sound. And I'm saying that it can be scientifically proven, which it can't. But see, shamanism is a science, and it's a science that has been seen in multiple cultures. Like, for example, the Chinese, they have the Bagua. The Norse, they have this thing called the Helm of Awe. Chinese have the Bagua, and then the Vedic culture, I think they have something called the Ashtanga Yantra. Now, those are all eight-sided pictures, basically. They have 8 sides to them, and they have a center. And basically, you'll find arrows pointing in all 8 directions, or you'll find the Bagua has 3 layers, and then it's 8 directions. You can research this and look it up all you want. I'm not gonna go into bothering to put up the pictures or anything like that. But even in the stuff that I do right here, the qigong and stuff like that, we all use 8 directions in those to correspond with the different directions and the different vibrations of the directions, and each direction has a different energy, and so that's just one aspect of the differences between Western magic and prehistoric magic or shamanic magic. So, so it's just it's different. So if you don't know, shamanism is the oldest quote unquote religion that there ever was. The earliest, most primitive humans in existence that ever existed, like they used shamanism to interact with their world, and they would do things like have like vision quests and shamanic journeys and things like that, and like dreams, and they would purposely go into altered states of consciousness and in order to find out different things, like for example how to find animals, like they would actually go into these alternate states of consciousness, and whether you want to call them daydreaming or having visions or just dreaming when you're asleep, they would do this stuff, and then they would have visions of where you can find the animals, because and so like they would have different visions of where the animals were and stuff like that. And so they would tell the chiefs, hey, I just had a vision of there's this big group of buffalo right beyond that ridge right there, right over the ridge, and we can go there and get some buffalo meat. And so this is how this was adopted and adapted. These alternate states of consciousness would be used to actually attain things in physical reality, and this is what we call magic. Magic, and I believe it's like something about causing change to causing something to damn, it's been a while, guys. Something to cause change in conformity with your will, or something like that. Anyway, I think that's a quote by Aleister Crowley. But it's basically to cause a physical change in reality, to make something happen in accordance with your will. And so that's what shamanism does. That's what shamans do. They do magic. And they manifest things. So another huge difference is that I guess shamanism uses like the directions, but it also uses rituals, actual rituals and sacrifices and things like that. And it uses, like, for example, in when they would sacrifice animals to the gods, and they would do that, and they would do rituals around that, and they would do for example, in the Norse culture, they would use Galder, which is like a chanting, basically. They would use Galder, and they would use the runes, so they would chant the runes. So for example, if someone wanted money, they could use the rune Fehu. They would do this breathing technique that would this breathing technique and this ritual that would cause a change in consciousness. And as they were doing this ritual, they would do the breathing technique and chant the rune Fehu, and that would basically cause them to have this experience of this rune Fehu being grounded into their body, and they would have to, they were taking on that energy. So it's very powerful, and in Western magic, and guys, I'm not knocking Western magic. Western magic is fine if that's what you want to do. Just know that it uses Christianity as a kind of a template, and that's not in that's like a, it's not I guess harmonious with the natural energies. So for example, I do Qigong, so I do Qigong and I do things like that. So I mean, like, it's just a different energy. It's just different. I don't know how to like explain it or put it into words, but yeah. Let me grab a drink here and we'll talk about it. Okay. So anyway, back, or when I talk about shamanic cultures and prehistoric shamanic things, the earliest people who ever existed did not practice Christianity. That's something that was introduced later, and the earliest people who ever existed, they lived in tribes. They lived in small tribes, and they weren't in these, they didn't have big cities. They didn't have, these big colonies, and, they weren't super colonialized. And, that kind of came with the rise of like civilization, major civilization like Rome and stuff like that. And then that's where we get Christianity, because all these people, like in Greece, like the Greeks, they became a large city-state, and so people in tribes, they have to work. They have to do physical labor. They have to do physical things in physical reality to make sure that they survive, that the tribe survives and does, and can live another day. But when we have these large cities, we have slaves to go do the farming. They have slaves to run the cow pasture. They have slaves to go hunt, go do farming, agriculture, as well as, cows and whatever. And so you have like these people who are assigned to do certain duties. And so, but then the wealthier people in that society have all this free time to philosophize and to intellectualize and to think about higher thought. They're not concerned with their survival because they have enough resources to pay people to go farm for them and whatever, go buy food and whatever. Anyway, they have slaves to, clean their house and whatever. So what happens is, we have these these big cultures, and then that turns into religions, and then we have, priest classes where we have, it's not enough that people are slaves. They now have to be mentally enslaved, and said, and told that if you don't believe what we believe, then you're going to hell, kind of thing. So this is where Christianity started, and so I just want you guys to know that the Western magic, it is it comes from Christianity, and so Christianity is a very intellectual thing, intellectual religion. It's not in tune with the earth, with nature, with humans not being naturally as they are. And so this is where shamanism comes in. Shamanism is all about attuning your body to nature and attuning your mind, your spirit to the environment around you, and to becoming more in tune with that and more in harmony with that. So I guess it has to do with like being more with balanced in the earth. So you're probably asking me, okay, what does this have to do with magic? Well, the thing is, there's two systems of magic. There's Western and there's Shamanic or Prehistoric. There's like modern Western Christian magic, and then there's Prehistoric Shamanic. And so the shamanic forms of magic, how do they work? Well, I guess I should say, how do the Western forms of magic work? Well, the Western forms of magic work on the subconscious. They work on the, the unconscious level. So there's three levels to our consciousness. We have the unconscious, which is totally not conscious. We have the subconscious, which is like in between conscious and not conscious. It's like, if you need to remember your birthday, you aren't actually thinking about it, but you can remember it right away. Then we have the conscious. Well, so the rituals and the ceremonies of ceremonial Western magic, they work on the unconscious mind, but they work more on the subconscious mind, trying to get the conscious mind to implant messages into the unconscious through the subconscious. So, that's it. Like, you are trying to insert messages into your unconscious. However, that doesn't work. That will never work. Well, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it hasn't worked for me. Okay? It's kind of like hypnosis, putting yourself in an altered state and then trying to put messages into your unconscious mind, so that way you can come back to your conscious mind and have those messages implanted and embedded in there. As it's almost like a code, implanting a code for you to, for it to then go out and, manifest itself, do its thing. However, if that code is in contradiction to other codes that have been implanted in you, for example, let's say you say, I want to earn $1 million per year. You put that code into your subconscious mind through Western magic ritual or something like that. That's all fine, but that's not going to work because you have other codes inside of you that you have other, bits of programming, I should say. I should call it programming. You have other bits of programming in you that says, no, I need to be poor because I want to please my parents. I want to be poor because I want to, I need to, this is my identity. This is how the world sees me. If I was to be rich, then then my identity would be different. So you have all this protective programming around you, around your unconscious mind, that whenever you try to insert a new belief or a new programming into there, it just kicks it out automatically. It just kicks it off. However, in shamanic magic, we use energy. We use there's something called the higher self, the lower self in the navel center, and then the soul, the middle self in the heart center. And so when we're talking about magic, what we're talking about is the lower self. So the lower self in the navel center. And so in shamanic magic, what we do is we use energy. We use the lower self, or the navel center, or the lower dantian is it's associated with qi, with energy. So when you see people doing qigong, they're actually bringing energy into their body, into their navel center, and their navel center is soaking up that energy. And this is the center that releases the energy into your aura and soaks it up. And so when we do qigong, what we're actually doing is we're using qi. We are empowering ourselves with qi to reprogram our unconscious, because it works like a we use the 5 elements. Okay, so we use the 5 elements to either build the energy up or to cleanse it, to purify it. And so in that purification form, we are burning the excess energy up. We are burning up anything that is not in balance, and so our unconscious programming is not always in balance with our highest good. And so so basically when we do a cleansing ritual in qigong, we are cleansing all that unconscious crap, that our unconscious beliefs, our unconscious thought patterns, assumptions about the world, assumptions about our identity and things like that. We're burning all that away, and we are taking that off, and we're becoming more conscious of it, because when we burn that away, what does it do? It just rises up to our conscious mind, or I should say our conscious mind, and it basically, we become aware, oh my gosh, I had this self-limiting belief about myself for so many years. And then we can, having that awareness of ourselves, we can then take action to do things that are in our best interest, So shamanic magic actually works on the unconscious level to purify the unconscious, to get rid of our negative self-talk or things like that. But what it does in addition to this, when we incorporate runes, when we incorporate mantras, when we incorporate rituals, mantras, runes, galder, things like that, when we incorporate these this shamanic magic into our daily lives, it actually goes into the unconscious, just like I said the qigong did. It goes into the unconscious, and it breaks right through that the programming, and because there's a shield around your unconscious. There's a shield of your programming, your unconscious beliefs, your unconscious assumptions about yourself and the world. And so it's like this big sticky ball of, and a shield around it. And what the rituals do and what the mantras do is they go in there, and they because this is the center that soaks up the energy. Rituals and mantras, they're just energy, and so when we do this, we are cultivating this energy, and that energy goes into our navel center, and it plants a seed in there. It actually takes root. It actually, not only does it strip away the protective shielding of the unconscious, but it also implants, the messages that that we're trying to implant into ourselves. Like, for example, becoming a millionaire. Becoming a millionaire. If you want to become a millionaire, then you're going to have to die to the old self, the part of you that said that, money is bad, and if I, my dad was always complaining about taxes and whatever, so there's a part of us that needs to die in order to transform. And the shamanic rituals, basically, there's this fundamental understanding that I want you guys to have. The world is a projection of you. The world is your projection. And so, it works on a quantum level, basically. But basically, the world is a projection of you. So anytime that you change what's inside of you, anytime you change your unconscious programming, that's going to have an effect externally on the world. So, and then, with Western magic, their view is that we are having a change directly on the world. They're trying to project their intention, their will on the world. Right? They're trying to get it to change, when it's not it that changes, it's us that needs to change. So shamanic magic is all about changing us. It's all about how we can rise and ascend to the next level. Because everything is within us. We are everything. We are gods. It might not seem like it, but that's the truth. We are God in human flesh. And so we're more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. So I guess the main takeaway that I wanted to give you guys is this model of, of external locus of control versus internal locus of control. Shamanic magic uses an internal locus of control because we know that we're changing ourselves. We're dying to our old self. We're dying to our unconscious patterns, our unconscious habits, our unconscious beliefs, assumptions, and way of thinking, habits of thought about the world and our place in the world. In Western ceremonial magic, post-Christian magic, because shamanic magic is pre-Christian. In post-Christian Western magic, the focus is on changing the world to get what you want. It's all about using the projection to projecting through your third eye to to get what you want, you know. It uses a slightly different, you know, thing, but, you know, the thing that really separates the two is just this. It's internal locus of control versus external. You know, and here's the other thing is that, you know, say if I'm just using a general example of someone wanting to manifest money because that's the typical thing that people want to manifest. Either it's money or it's sex or it's love or, you know, combination. You know, Western magic, I find they are like kind of, they're basically putting it out there, like they are expecting, you know, the world to change just because they did a ritual. They don't want to change in and of themselves. They want the world to change to give them what they want. And that, you know, that depends on the magician themselves, but I've just found this to be the case with most things that I've studied. Most magicians that I've watched on, you know, on YouTube or other places, but yeah. And then two, the other thing that really irks me is that people think that magic is just this, like, boom, it's, you know, if it doesn't manifest within, you know, 24 hours, then it's BS, you know. That's not the case at all. Most magic takes a long time to do, you know. And so if we don't see this instantaneous shift in our reality, then it's just going to be, you know, then people just think it's fake, right? So, you know, so with shamanic magic, another thing that we're doing when we are doing these rituals is we're not only stating what we want, but we're also stating that we will do anything and everything that it takes to do this, to accomplish it, to make it happen. So if it means we need to die to our lower selves, if it means we need to die to our limitations, then we die to our limitations. You know, if it means we need to put in more work, then we put in more work. But you know, shamanic magic is all about doing the work, actually having a practical action that we can take in the world. You know, being committed to do the actual work that it takes to get what you want, because yeah, the energy, basically the ritual is there to change you on the inside, but you need to at the same time do the actions that you need to do on the outside to make it happen on the outside. So yes, the ritual will change you on the inside, but you need to do actions on the outside to make it happen on the outside. So it's kind of like this, you do this ritual stating that you want something, and then the gods or whoever are listening to you saying, okay, we'll make it we'll help you with that, but you need to, you know, take some action. And so you take action in the world, and when those two forces are you know, used in, like, basically at the same time, synergistically, then they come together and they create a force that's stronger than anything else. So then, stronger than just one or just the other. It's like amplifying the energy. So the action supports the magic, and the magic supports the action. So, I think I've rambled enough for today. Let me see how I am on time. Yep. So we're pretty far on time. So, hopefully that gave you kind of a good introduction to the differences between Western magic and shamanic magic or prehistoric magic. It's a different frame of reference because Western magic is about making things happen in the world, and shamanic magic is saying, yeah, I know that things need to happen in the world, that's why I do actions, but the magic part is actually about changing us internally, about changing our unconscious programming to become more successful. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining me here today. I know this has been a long lecture, but anyway, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and smash that like button for me. And so I have these courses here. The Self-Transformation Challenge, it basically combines yoga and qigong, and this cosmic qigong here is all about qigong. It's a basic beginner's introduction into qigong. So so if you guys would like to experience the energy that I'm talking about here today, then you can get the qigong programs or the self-transformation course. So I have my energy work courses. I also have, I am a support group facilitator. I am a life coach and a career coach. I am a distance energy healer. And I am a Vedic astrologer. So you can hit me up on Linktree/Gabo the Shaman, right there. Linktree/Gabo the Shaman, to visit all my links, to check out all my programs and all my courses and all my life coaching and distance energy healing and all kinds of stuff that I have to offer. All of that will be at Linktree/Gabo the Shaman. Okay, guys, so I think I've promoted myself enough for today. We will talk to you guys later. Peace.